Welcome to episode 19 of Forest Focus. I'm your host, Paul Wade, with the Regional Public Affairs and Communications Office. Why do most of us visit our public lands, like forests and parks? To get away, to recreate, and to be refreshed by being closer to the outdoors and nature. Millions of us understand what the benefit of being outdoors has on our mind, body, and spirit. But what other benefits does the natural world provide on your national forests? Well, this episode we explore how nature benefits lives with our guest, Sherry Reckler, an Ecosystem Services Program Manager with the Forest Service's Pacific Southwest region, who will guide us through a series of shows, starting with this one, an introduction into ecosystem services, otherwise known as Nature's Benefits. Sherry, thanks for calling into the show. Let's jump into what are these Nature's Benefits, and of course, how are they connected to our national forests?
Thanks so much, Paul. So, ecosystem services are those natural resources from our forests that people rely on in their everyday lives. We also refer to them as nature's benefits, and they include everything from water flow and clarity to the carbon that is stored by our forests, to the recreation and traditional spaces that forest green spaces offer, to employing people through the jobs that forest products create, to pollinators and more.
Why is it important to focus on nature's benefits?
So nature's benefits are the things that people rely on, and of course they are finite, meaning that they are of limited quantity. The clean air we breathe, ensuring that we have enough pollinators to grow our food, and some of the other benefits such as water that I previously mentioned, will not be sustainable unless we ensure that our forests are healthy and resilient. And of course, we want them to be available now and for future generations.
Okay, so you've mentioned water, carbon, recreation, and a few other things at the beginning of our talk. What are the idea of the benefits that we're focused on, and why are they important?
So a steering committee was formed with guidance from directors and forest supervisors, essentially several folks from our regional leadership team, who assisted in identifying the critical nature's benefits to focus on. Those are water, carbon, local economies, timber and wood products, and recreation. These are the nature's benefits that we know are crucial to people in their daily lives and are most impactful and would likely resonate with them in terms of incentivizing them to take action and be involved in their sustainability.
You mentioned that these benefits are affecting people's daily lives, but what connection or impact does a forest have with people living hundreds of miles away from a forest or in a large city, for instance?
Well, it's actually a big impact. Let's take Fresno, for example. Fresno is a huge agricultural community where farm equipment uses a significant amount of diesel. The nearby Sierra National Forest provides a source of millions of trees that not only clean and filter the pollutants from the air, but sequester carbon through tree leaves, soil, and roots. Trees also create the oxygen we breathe. So as one example only, whether one is experiencing good air quality or poor air quality may depend on the health of our trees and the resiliency of our national forests. Another valuable nature's benefits for those who live in Fresno are the 2.4 million acre feet of water per year that come from the Sierra National Forest, which supplies approximately 6 million households a year. The Sierra National Forest also supports approximately 1,770 jobs annually and has an installed hydro capacity that would meet the power needs of more than 2 million households. So it's pretty clear that the big agriculture, commercial business, and the communities that live around Fresno are significantly impacted in a positive way by the benefits that come from the Sierra National Forest.
Well, the numbers you're throwing around here, Sherry, are quite fascinating, and we will explain to the audience how to find more about those later in the show. I'm curious, where did all this data come from?
The data came from many of the Forest Service's own databases as well as peer-reviewed work.
And again, I'm looking at the infographics, which are eye-catching illustrations of these benefits. And clearly the research must have taken years on some of these. Can you explain to the audience how long has the Forest Service been involved in this work?
Well, Paul, the Forest Service has been engaged in this work really a long time. And frankly, all of our people touch the issue of nature's benefits every day in some way. However, recognizing the importance of ecosystem services or nature's benefits, in 2013, the Associate Deputy Chiefs of the Forest Service established and signed the Charter for the National Ecosystem Services Strategy Team, otherwise known as NEST, with a focus on how we might integrate ecosystem services into policy and programs within the agency. Then in 2016, the charter was re-signed and extended, and a group of folks began working on what was called the General Technical Report that really put some parameters around how integration could occur within our decision making in the agency and what programs could most incorporate the lens of nature's benefits. And in January 2017, that GTR was published.
How did you and, of course, the region get into basically studying the benefits of our national forests?
I have to say, it was really our current regional forester, Randy Moore, who was impressed with the work of the National Ecosystem Services Strategy Team members. He thought that leveraging nature's benefits might be able to heighten the pace and scale of restoration by connecting those who could help with restoration better understand the problem through their own connection with nature's benefits from California's national forests. So really the goal of this work is to incentivize citizen stewardship, volunteerism, and bring partners to the problem.
This seems like a lot of work for one agency to manage the roughly 20 million acres, knowing that forests themselves aren't restricted to particular boundaries. And basically, it's a patchwork quilt of federal, state, and private landowners and managers. So is the Forest Service doing this all by themselves, or are there other partners involved?
Paul, so absolutely, we're working with various state, federal, and local partners because we can't do the necessary restoration alone. To make our forests healthy and resilient to a variety of stressors, to include a warming climate and wildfire, we need partners whose interests and vision intersect with national forest goals of restoration, looking at an all lands approach, to look beyond National Forest Service boundaries to include state and private lands. In addition, we're not just looking at local community stakeholders, but we're also looking at externals that can bring private investment financing tools to allow for upfront investment and to leverage Forest Service dollars on projects, as well as corporate America, who may see an intersection between their corporate sustainability mission and the work that we're doing to restore, maintain, or enhance nature's benefits for future generations.
Well, let's talk about one of those partnerships, specifically the state of California. So the Pacific Southwest region of the U.S. Forest Service and the state of California have a shared stewardship memorandum of understanding. Sherry, can you explain its purpose?
Well, in August of 2020, the Forest Service and the state of California developed a shared stewardship memorandum of understanding around how we could continue our work together and enlarge and enhance these areas, looking across land boundaries, as I've spoken about before.
The MOU has many different categories where we will be working together, but one of the most important commitments is that both parties, amongst other things, will seek to improve wildfire risks on state and public lands, and it includes a commitment by the federal government to match the state of California's goal of reducing wildfire risks on 500,000 acres of forest land per year by 2025. So together, we're talking about 1 million acres of restoration treatment annually.
Now, pace and scale, that phrase has been mentioned a few times. Can you explain that term for the audience?
So, when we talk about pace and scale, we're really talking about speed as well as how large the area it is that we're looking to restore.
Both of those things are really important, and we seek to do them simultaneously, meaning making sure we are providing the right treatment in the right places at a speed that will make a difference and help us mitigate our severe wildfire and ensure the sustainability of our forest nature's benefits.
Well, I agree. And as a person who enjoys exploring the backcountry and the solitude of national forests, I was not aware that they provided so much. and maybe some of our listeners didn't either. Well, we agreed that this would only be an introduction into nature's benefits, so I'm excited to jump into our first of 5 benefits very soon. Thanks again, Sherry.
Yeah, sure, Paul. I enjoyed it, and I am hopeful that folks are able to take a little bit more information away with them today. And I'm looking forward to our next Nature's Benefits discussion about water and bringing a subject matter expert to that discussion.
So there you have it, folks, an introduction to nature's benefits, with the second episode in this series focusing on a very important resource here in California, water. We look forward to that, and you can find more about these benefits by looking up Pacific Southwest Region Nature's Benefits. It will also be linked on the page that you found this episode. Thank you for listening. To learn more about this show, share it, or hear our other episodes, please search Forest Focus Podcast. And if you have questions or suggestions on a topic of area of expertise you would like us to feature, please email us at sm.fs.r5ffpodcast@usda.gov. Until next time, enjoy your public lands. And remember to recreate responsibly. Know before you go, and learn what you can do to prevent wildfires. Take care. This podcast is sponsored by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Forest Service, and USDA is an equal opportunity provider, employer, and lender.